Designer babies. No, these are not fashionable clothes designing babies. These are babies that were genetically modified way before birth, and they could be the future of the human race. Let's start from the beginning. An embryo is what the baby is during the first 8 weeks of pregnancy. After that, they are a fetus. So far, majority of the tests have been done on monkeys and rats. However, on humans, scientists were also able to add a third genetic code to an embryo, giving a baby 3 parents. As time went on, a sensational discovery occurred called CRISPR. This begins with viruses, which hunt for bacteria. When a virus finds a bacterium, it inserts its own virus DNA into it. The bacterium tries to fight back the virus, but typically is too weak to do so. However, in the rare case that the bacterium survives, they save a part of the virus in their genetic code by sending 2 RNAs, which copy the virus's genetic code. From there, they form a complex with Cas9, a DNA-cutting protein. When the complex finds a targeted DNA, it unwinds the double helix and matches one of the strands with the guide RNA, the RNA that copied the virus DNA. After this, Cas9 makes a cut in the DNA with its molecular scissors. This is called a double-stranded break. The DNA will try to repair itself, but typically the DNA will stay broken. This way, specific genes can be knocked out to create a healthier baby. Also, in recent technology, scientists have found a way to disable Cas9's molecular scissors and instead attach new enzymes to it. These enzymes can change specific DNA bases, and just by doing this, a diseased gene can be turned into a healthy one. That's a simple explanation of CRISPR. But why do we care? We're not scientists. While that may be true, the future that CRISPR has to offer will play a role in the entire world. To start with, changing genes to make a human stronger, smarter, prettier, and etc. will create a gap in society, which I will explain later. But as we continue to advance in this field, it's theoretically possible to create an army of nearly indestructible soldiers or humans that can fly or breathe underwater. I'm getting a little ahead of myself, but drastic effects will begin to appear in our society. But if you could do all of this, would you? There is much controversy on whether we should continue digging deeper into CRISPR. On one side, many people say editing your child's DNA is like getting an abortion because nature isn't 100% doing its thing. Also, it's a violation of your baby's rights, and although it sounds like we know a lot about CRISPR, there is still so much to be discovered, making possibilities for errors and possible termination of the child. An example of an error would be editing the gene that controls your intelligence, which is the same gene that controls your anger. Making your baby more intelligent could potentially make it angrier. The same thing could happen to a gene that has a genetic disease. There is just too much we don't know. Another thing is that many people suspect it will create a large gap in our society, with designer babies and non-designer babies. Similar to blacks and whites, there could potentially be a lot of segregation. And last but not least, parents could only use CRISPR to change physical appearances, for example, eye color and gender, when really its best benefits are to get rid of the genes with genetic diseases. That would be taking advantage of this new technology. On the flip side, CRISPR can easily benefit us, for example, increasing someone's lifespan up to 30 more years. On top of that, it reduces the chances of genetic disorders such as Alzheimer's, Down syndrome, spinal muscular atrophy, and Huntington's disease. Also inherited diseases like obesity, diabetes, anemia, and cancer. The decision is completely up to the parents as well. It's their choice to choose whatever they want to change about their baby and are not forced under certain rules to have blue eyes or red hair, things like that. Looking at the big picture, the more practice we have editing babies' genes, the better we will become at it and can learn so much more, which in the future will inevitably make babies' chances of survival increase. Personally, hearing about the effects that editing genes using CRISPR could do to our future excites me. No, I don't want the world to be taken over by indestructible soldiers, and I don't want to be supportive of the possibility that a baby could be murdered. I want the world to continue in this field and develop as much research as we need to do, but only about getting rid of genetic diseases in your DNA. Any further than that, I don't support. However, knowing the greedy leaders of today's world, I almost know they wouldn't just stop at eliminating genetic diseases. Maybe we should completely stop digging into CRISPR right now, but if that's the case, I would say it's a little too late for that.